Senator Kamala Harris has been a frontrunner among the numerous Democratic candidates running for president. However, Harris's history as a prosecutor and attorney general in the state of California was a touchy subject and cause for concern long before her presidential campaign. "The concerns are overblown, yes, no question," Harris told CBS News. But she was unable to escape addressing her controversial history. It took center stage during the second Democratic debate earlier this month. When the topic of criminal justice reform arose, Harris bore the brunt of criticism from her fellow candidates, including Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard. Harris has since responded to Gabbard's claims, saying she did the work of significantly reforming the criminal justice system of a state of 40 million people. "I am proud of making a decision to not just give fancy speeches or be in a legislative body and give speeches on the floor," she said, "but actually doing the work of being in the position to use the power that I had to reform a system that is badly in need of reform." Clearly, two very different answers. So let's try to clear this up. Here are the important things to know about Kamala Harris's history as Attorney General. Harris served as Attorney General twice. Harris's first go-around was as the District Attorney General of San Francisco. Her term lasted 7 years, from 2004 to 2011. Then from 2011 to 2017 she went on to serve the state of California as Attorney General before taking on the role of Senator. The Back on Track initiative was one of her most successful programs. As District Attorney in 2005, Harris launched an initiative to reduce recidivism among first-time drug trafficking defendants. The program, known as Back on Track, lasts 12-18 months and provides its participants with a personal responsibility plan (PRP). Their PRP will consist of setting goals around employment, parenting and receiving an education, instead of serving jail time. Participants are also required to serve 220 hours of community service. Graduating from the program requires each participant to find a job, enroll in school full-time, and comply with all terms of their PRP. Shutting the revolving door of the criminal justice system requires innovative, results-driven policies and initiatives that help offenders get their lives back on track, Harris said. She tackled racial bias and police brutality, in 2015, under Harris's jurisdiction as State Attorney General. California became the first statewide agency to adopt a body camera program and also enforced a first-of-its-kind law enforcement training. The presidential candidate reminded people of her work during last night's debate. However, what wasn't mentioned is that wearing the body camera was not mandatory for all local police officers in the state, only those working directly for Harris. According to PBS, that same year Harris warned against a one-size-fits-all solution. "I as a general matter believe that we should invest in the ability of law enforcement leaders in specific regions and with the departments to use their discretion to figure out what technology they are going to adopt based on needs that they have and resources they have," Harris told the Sacramento Bee. And the training Harris referred to is known as Principled Policing, Procedural Justice and Implicit Bias. The course totaled 8 hours and consisted of 6 areas that focus on policing approaches that emphasize respect, listening, neutrality and trust, while recognizing and addressing implicit biases that can be barriers to these approaches, according to a press release from the Attorney General's office. According to press release, a little over 90 applicants from 30 agencies applied for the course. Prison reform hasn't always been her strong suit. In 2011, the Supreme Court demanded the state of California reduce its prison population by 33,000 inmates in the next 2 years due to overpopulation resulting in starvation, inhumane treatment and even death, according to NPR. However, in 2014, according to the LA Times, federal judges ordered that all non-violent second-strike offenders be eligible for parole after serving half the sentence. As stated by the LA Times, most of those prisoners were working as groundskeepers, janitors and kitchen staff. Harris's lawyers argued in court that releasing him would drastically reduce the prison labor pool. Seriously, however, Harris told BuzzFeed that she was shocked to hear the defense. "I was very troubled by what I read. I just need to find out what did we actually say in court," she said. Her stance on marijuana has evolved. In 2010, Harris was staunchly opposed to the use of recreational marijuana. Spending 2 decades in courtrooms, Harris believes that drug selling harms communities, her then campaign manager Brian Brokaw told Capital Weekly. Harris supports the legal use of medicinal marijuana but does not support anything beyond that. In 2015, at the California Democrats' convention, she called for an end to the federal ban on medical marijuana, but withheld the term legalization. It wasn't until 2018, as senator, that she co-signed Senator Cory Booker's Marijuana Justice Act. Right now in this country, people are being arrested, being prosecuted, and end up spending time in jail or prison, all because of their use of a drug that otherwise should be considered legal, Harris said in a press release. "Making marijuana legal at the federal level is the smart thing to do. It's the right thing to do. I know this as a former prosecutor and I know it as a senator. The anti-truancy policy she passed had good intentions, but backfired." In her 2011 inauguration speech, Harris pointed out that in 2010 there were 600,000 truant students in their elementary schools alone. In an effort to remediate this issue, she passed a law making it a criminal misdemeanor for parents to allow their children, kindergarten through 8th grade, to miss more than 10% of school days, without an excuse. The parents or guardians of truant children could face a $2,000 fine or up to 1 year in jail. "We are putting parents on notice," Harris said at her 2011 inauguration. "If you fail in your responsibility to your kids, we're going to work to make sure you face the full force and consequences of the law." However, this policy ended up generalizing the truancy issue, placing blame on parents with circumstances outside the control. Harris has since apologized for criminalizing parents in a Pod Save America interview. "This was never the intention," she said. "I regret that has happened and the thought that anything I did could have led to that." For more stories like this, including celebrity news, beauty and fashion advice, savvy political commentary, and fascinating features, sign up for the Marie Claire newsletter. Subscribe here. Alexis Jones, assistant editor. Alexis Jones is an assistant editor at Women's Health. Let's block ads. Why?